And then the next thing I want to do, since I'm going live on this site for the first time and we're going to have to do a content migration, I'm going to go to the coming soon page, and in an ideal world, I would have customized this. For the demo, I don't have it customized. But I want to set this to be the homepage so that when I publish this for the first time, if the blog hasn't finished migrating or if there are things that I need to clean up, the coming soon page is the thing that is seen, and you can't actually click around the template at all. And you can't actually click around the website at all, so you don't see anything that's like a work in progress. Technically, all of these pages are still live. If I really wanted to, I could go in and I could unpublish them, but I think that's going to make testing live. Really, the only way for somebody to get to these is by entering in the exact URL of the page. So if it was like saunderlyphotography.com/meet, if somebody took a link right to that page, or if they type in the URL, they could see it. But hopefully the coming soon page is up for only a short time, and so it really doesn't make much of a difference. Okay, so once my coming soon page is set, then we're going to start the process of actually connecting our domain and then hitting publish. So I'm going to come up to site settings, and I'm going to go to custom domain, and we're going to need to connect a domain. So this actual like domain connection process is going to vary a little bit based on where your client purchased a domain. I'm going to show you one from a domain that I own, but this process is probably similar, and Showit also has a lot of other tutorials and help docs out there for connecting various domain registrars to your client's account. So even if I'm showing you one that does not work for your particular client registrar, it's kind of the same process. So we're going to go to click here to get started, and I do own a domain name. Okay, so I'm going to put in the domain that I want to connect to this account next. So this is one of my extra domains that I have, so I'm going to use this for this example. I'm going to click on next, and then we would set this up for our client. So do they currently have a website at the domain? I'm going to say yes. How is it built? So a custom site, like could be a custom WordPress site, could be custom coded, or if it's a template-based site, this is going to be like Squarespace or Wix or one of those other builders. I'm going to go with this one for now. This one really doesn't make a huge difference what they select or what you select. And then I'm going to say, yes, I have a blog, and yes, I have email. So we'll click on next. Then we're going to put in my phone number. Okay, so then we're going to go on to the blog setup. So proceed to the blog setup. We could either migrate an existing blog, or we could set up a new blog. The plan that I have for this one has a middle tier blog plan, which does not include a content migration. If you were going to have them migrate your content, you would select this, or migrate your client's content. You would select this, migrate existing blog, and then you need to give them their login for either WordPress or for Squarespace. Those are the only companies that they'll migrate blog posts from, because they're the only ones that actually make it possible. Sites like Wix, or gosh, there's like Webflow, all of those ones. I guess Webflow might be WordPress, but there's a lot of them that are built like that, and all of their like blog posts are, I don't know, they're like built into the system, and you can't actually take them out of the system. So it's tedious. If you do have a client who needs a lot of blog posts moved over from something like Wix, in the past, I've done like Fiverr people, like we've hired third-party people from Fiverr. But if they are migrating from a platform that Showit will do a migration from, you just need to give Showit those details, and they'll set up the new WordPress account and they'll do the migration. It takes up to a week. Right now, I'm going to select set up a new blog. Since this is a brand new site, it's going to go to palmtreesites.com, and then I'm going to hit submit. It might take like a few hours to a day, maybe a little longer to a weekend, but within a short time frame, I should get an email to my inbox with the DNS settings that I need to update my GoDaddy URL. So once that comes back, I will show you the next steps. So even though my domain name is not yet connected, I'm going to go ahead and hit publish on this site. It's not going to make anything work, but it will ensure that once this domain name and the blog are all set up and it's connected, that it's a little bit more of a seamless process. So again, if you haven't hit publish yet on the site, you can go ahead and do that. No one's actually going to see it yet. Okay, so this email came in from Showit giving me my DNS records for this account. And this email is going to go to whichever email is used to log into the Showit account. So if you're submitting this on behalf of your client, you're going to need to have them monitor their email for an email from Showit, and it's going to give them their domain names or their DNS records. Okay, so in my Showit account, I need to go to my name or my client's name and then manage account. And then I'm going to come over here to domains. And Showit has this newer tool that they're using to help configure the DNS, and it's really pretty time saving. So it gives you the DNS records in here, and I'm going to run this button in a minute. But first, I want to come over to my GoDaddy dashboard, which is where this domain was purchased. And I'm going to take a screenshot of the DNS records just in case anything goes wrong. I think this is especially important if somebody has email set up or like just a more complicated setup. Because if something breaks, you have those records to refer back to. Otherwise, they're kind of just like gone for good. So in GoDaddy, I'm going to go to domain, and then I'll click on the domain that I want to manage, and we'll go to manage DNS. And I'm going to come down here, and I'm just going to do a screenshot of this account. So on a Mac, that would be Command Shift and then the number 4. I can't actually take one right now because it would stop my screen recording. But if you're on your computer, Command Shift 4 will let you take a screenshot of this section, and then you have those just in case as backup. So I'm going to go back to Showit, and I'm going to click on Configure DNS. And then it's going to have me log into my GoDaddy account or whichever DNS I'm using. So it's analyzing the domain. It knows that the domain was purchased from GoDaddy. So now I need to sign in. And it's going to run this checker, and hopefully I logged in right. And then it sent a code to my email to verify this account. So I need to check that. So in my email, there's this code that GoDaddy wants me to verify. If you're doing this for your client, you're going to have them get that back to you pretty quickly. Either that, or you could record your own tutorial teaching them how to do this process, since it's not super crazy. So it looks like Showit has detected the existing records, and I want it to update those. So I'm going to hit OK. And we'll give it a minute to run through this process. And then I'm going to hit done. So let's check our DNS right now and see what is happening. Okay, so it looks like these are just going to take a little bit of time to update. Usually if you're updating GoDaddy DNS records, Showit's going to pick up those updates within about an hour. GoDaddy's pretty fast. It might even be a few minutes, but I've noticed that other places where people have purchased domain names can take a little bit longer. If, for example, somebody has a random place that they purchased their domain, and this configured DNS is not working for you, you could also go in and manually do it. So I could copy these. So I need to copy this value, and we need to set that up as an A record in GoDaddy. So I would come here to my GoDaddy, and I'm going to refresh this to see if it's showing my Showit updates. It is. But if I didn't have those DNS records updated, I could manually change these A records. So I could come in here, I could paste in my value, and we want it to be an A. The name will be the ampersand, and then the value will be this. And I'm going to hit save. And if for some reason their domain name doesn't have any records at all yet, we can also always add new records. So this would be an A. This would be our @sand. We would do this one right here. And then I always go the lowest for TTL, and then you would hit save. And let's come back here because I'll show you the other ones. We would also need to add this guy right here. So the same way we would add the A record, ampersand, and this one. It wanted me to remove these because it doesn't need them. Those are probably the default GoDaddy ones. So we'll come back here and see if they're in here. No, it looks like the domain tool removed those, but if I was manually adding them, I could also just go and delete trash a record, and then that wouldn't be there anymore. And then it wanted me to add the CNAME to palm tree sites. So I would, let's see. Oh, it wants me to do this one. This is so that the blog works. CNAME www. So I would do CNAME, www, and I do that. And then I hit save, and it got that one in here. But if it hadn't worked on that, I would just manually add that. So we'll give this a few hours for Showit to start picking up those records, or for the DNS to update throughout the site. Sometimes if Showit was doing a blog migration for this client, you would probably have an email in their inbox asking them to let Showit know once the DNS records have been updated. And then once that has been done, then Showit can start that migration of their blog content. And again, that can take a couple of days. You're also going to want to, and Showit explains all of that here in this like next steps area, and I'll link that below too. But you're going to want to put in a request to add an SSL certificate to this page or to this site in order to have it be secure. So to do that, you'll just ask them to do that in Showit. So I'm going to log into Showit, app.showit.com, and then I would just come down to my little chat box right here, and I would send them a quick message saying, hey guys, this domain is connected. Can you add an SSL certificate to this site? But we wouldn't be able to do that until the domain name is actually rendering at this URL. And right now it's not. We can also hit publish just to make sure that everything is working there. And so the blog isn't connected yet. Let me come up here too and make sure that the blog is connected. Yes, there's a blog there. So yeah, now it's just a waiting game for that DNS to get added. Okay, so it took a couple of hours, and I would need to fix the fonts on this. Part of that is just because I brought in her fonts, but it didn't have the right italic fonts. But anyway, after a couple of hours, the site was working, and Showit also added the SSL certificate to make sure that it was secure. So if you ever launch a site and you see that like you're getting a page not secure, or you might have like a little broken error up here, message Showit and they'll add that SSL certificate. They have to do it manually, but once they do, the site will work and you can get around that, and you'll have all of these things that say that the connection is secure. So now that this is here, I can go through the process of testing the live site. So double checking the links, making sure that I have a fave icon, and kind of going through that whole launch checklist that I have. And I can type in home, and then I could actually like see the whole site and start clicking around. And this is how I would make sure that everything works, including the blog, which if the blog is new, you'll want to come in and make sure that any blog posts migrated. Right now, I just see that there is a like standard WordPress post in here that would need to be removed. And I would need to teach the client how to add their own blog posts. So I can log in here, and I gotta remember what my password is. So the login for WordPress should probably always be the login that your client used to create their Showit account. If they migrated a blog from a different WordPress account, it's probably going to use that login, whatever they used for that one. But otherwise, it's going to just take the one that they use for their Showit login. So I can click on login here, and I could add my password. And now I could start going in and checking posts. So I could trash this like default one. I could add the categories and make sure that those are connected to the blog area, and do any other setups that we need to do to make sure that their blog area looks great.